We're taking you on a smooth journey through Alabama football here on a Friday, the month of March, continuing to move through here on the hottest show on the streets, number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from the magic city of Birmingham. Appreciating everyone tuning in to the show on this evening. The show brought to you by WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. That is WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. If you haven't done so, go ahead right now and copy that four-finger bling necklace, four-finger bling jewelry, showing that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and just the pageantry, the dominance, the history of owning that fourth quarter. Check them out right now. WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. We're bringing you the show or streaming you the show through YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, give us that thumbs up, like the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can have the best in news, notes, information, and coverage on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. Run those likes up right now. Appreciate you, the fans, helping us out here on the show. We're also streaming this to you through Facebook and Twitter as well, so all forms of social media, we got you covered. Got a great show prepared for you guys this evening. We're going to be joined live a little bit later on in the show by my man Mike McCoy, former Alabama receiver, played from 2006 to 09. Huge part of that 09 championship team. He is the owner and founder of Maximum Performance Institute out of Bessemer. Excited to have him on to talk Crimson Tide football. Gotta shout out my man John Ivory one time in the production studio doing his thing. Appreciate everything that he does. Gotta shout out you guys, the Alabama football fans. And if you want to be a part of the show tonight, you know what to do. You call 205-448-1358. That is the number to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We got NBA All-Star Weekend kicking off this week, and that's going to be fantastic. We got the spring game for Alabama football taking place in April, spring practice coming up in the next couple of weeks. Just so many things to get really excited about when you talk for sports venue, including your Crimson Tide. Got to also shout out my man, Dallas Schwartz one time. Dallas Schwartz has become a member to TDA on YouTube. And if you want to become a member to the channel, you check out the link that is in the chat line and also in the description. That link will take you step by step in showing you how to become a member to TDA. But appreciating one, Dallas Schwartz becoming a member. Also, the daily super chat goal, $75, that daily super chat goal. Appreciating you guys for helping us out here. We appreciate the love, the support, the joy that you give us here on this show. But we jump in now. First topic of conversation here on tonight's show, and it goes to Pete Golding, Alabama defensive coordinator Pete Golding. Can he finally earn the trust of you, the fans, to where Alabama made the right decision in hiring him? This is the big question. Can Pete Golding earn the trust of you, the Alabama football faithful, in his fourth year, as he looks to kind of prove that he was the right hire for the job to run the defense, to operate the defense, to be the defensive coordinator? Golding entering his fourth season. He came in 2018 from some small programs. He was at Southern Miss. He was at University of Texas San Antonio. He was at Delta State, Tusculum College, Southeastern Louisiana. He was at a lot of small schools prior to coming to the Crimson Tide in 2018 as the co-defensive coordinator, sharing the responsibilities with Tosh Lupoi. After 2018, we all know 2019 and 2020, Golding became the primary defensive coordinator in charge of kind of running the whole scheme, running the whole system, the whole gamut here. And though he has not been just completely terrible, that there's been a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to Pete Golding. You have half the fan base going, he's young, he's doing a good job, he's growing, he's developing, he's getting better. He's had to deal with players being injured and young players out there playing in different scheme, different strategy, just different everything. But then you have the other half of the fan base going, look, this is Alabama football. It don't matter. There's a standard here. There is an idea here. There is a process here that playing defense, you got to be on your P's and Q's. You got to be on your stuff. You got to be on your game. You got to run your job. And there are these two sort of conflicting thoughts coming from the other fan base. But the question becomes, as he's entering year four, he's in his fourth year in the program, can he win over the trust of you, the fans, in proving that he was the right decision, that he was the right man, that he was the right hire for this job? As we look at Alabama's defensive numbers in the last 3 years under Golding haven't been terrible. They haven't been what you, the fans, have been used to prior to him, but once again, haven't been just terrible. So when you look at Pete Golding, 2018, Alabama gave up an average of 18.1 points per game. It also gave up an average of 319.5 yards per game. 2019, it gave up 18.6 points per contest, 324.4 yards per game. And this past season, 2020, it gave up 19.4 yards per game, 19.4 points per game, 352.2 yards per game. So that's 2018. 2019 and 20, all 3 years. 2018, Alabama finished 14-1 on the season, lost in the national championship game to Clemson. 2019, Alabama finished 11-2, on the year. It did finish strong and beating Michigan 35-16 in the Citrus Bowl. And then this past season, Alabama going undefeated, perfect 13-0, running through an SEC conference-only schedule despite COVID being involved. Alabama went undefeated, got to the national championship, and won. Among some other numbers that Golding has produced defensively, or helped this defense produce, 43 interceptions combined from 2018 to 2020. He had, 43 interceptions combined, 14 picks in 2018 for Alabama, 17 picks 2019, 12 picks this past season, and also 112 sacks combined from 2018 to 2020. 45 sacks in 2018, 32 sacks 2019, 35 sacks this past season. So what we're seeing here, he's helped put in some good numbers. He's helped produce some strong statistics here for the Crimson Tide. But the big thing here is, can Golding take this defense? Can he take it and make it a top 5 unit? Can he take it and make it a top 5, top 10, top 3? Can he take it and make it one of the best, if not the best unit in college football for the upcoming season, due to the fact that he's bringing a lot of talent back here? Alabama's returning a lot of leadership pieces here to that side of the football. Yes, it lost or it loses Christian Barmore off the defensive line, Patrick Surtain II in the defensive backfield, and Dylan Moses at linebacker. It loses all 3 of those guys to the NFL draft. However, you bring back a LeBron Ray, you bring back a DJ Dale, you bring back a T.M. Smith, you bring back a Fidarian Mathis, you bring back a Justin Boyd, a Byron Young, a lot of monsters here on the defensive line. If a linebacking unit, you return Christian Harris. You return Jalen Moody. Shane Lee is back. You return the likes of Will Anderson and Chris Allen. You return a lot of pieces there at the inside linebacker position. And then, if Alabama's able to secure Henry Toto from the transfer portal out of Tennessee, but that's even bigger production that Alabama can bring in here for one Pete Golding. And then, of course, in the secondary, you look at Josh Jobe is back. Malachi Moore is back. Brian Branch, DeMarco Helms, Jordan Battle, Ronald Williams Jr., Marcus Banks, a lot of guys back in the secondary also. So the talent's there. The leadership's there. The experience is there. I've mentioned this once before. For the first time since the 2017 season, all of the power, all of the leadership, all of the playmakers, it shifted back toward defense when Tua Tagovailoa came to Alabama from Hawaii in the 2017 class for 3 seasons, 2018, 19, and this past year. For 3 seasons, all of the experience, talent, big play, marquee power, all of that shifted over to offense. Why? To a Tagovailoa. It all shifted to that side. And then Mac Jones did a fantastic job last season keeping it on that side. So now, as we enter into this upcoming campaign, starting off in spring practice, which begins on a couple of weeks from now, on March 19th, you look at, can Pete Golding take this group and make it a top 5, top 10, top 3, defense in all of college football? And can he prove this to Coach Saban? Can he prove it to Nick Saban? Because that's the big picture. As much as we would want to see him prove it to you guys, the fans, and I myself in the media, as much as we want to see Pete Golding prove it to us that he was the right man for the job, ultimately, he has to prove it to himself, and he's got to prove it to Nick Saban, who hired him, that he's the right man for the job. Because prior to the end of last season, prior to a national championship last season, and after the national title game, Nick Saban was directed the question about, talk on your defense, Coach Saban. What did you like about your defense? Did you think your defense was special? Did you think your defense was dominant? Did you think it was elite? And Coach Saban simply answered the question with, we were okay. We were not marquee. We were not special. We were not elite. We were not make his butt quit. We were not the standard that we normally set for ourselves. We're not the standard that people have grown to know, respect, and expect from us. And even though we can all see that the game has changed, we can all see that the game will continue to change and will continue to evolve, but at the same time, even with that going on, Nick Saban being the disciplined disciple that he is, yes, he's brought in extraordinary offensive coordinators and offensive minds to give that side of the ball a facelift and an upgrade when you discuss Lane Kiffin, Brian Dable, Michael Locksley, and quite recently here, Steve Sarkisian. We understand this, but at the same token, Nick Saban has always been a defensive disciple, a defensive disciplinarian, if you will. His main thing is defense, and when the defense is not where he would like it to be, he's disappointed by that. He's upset by that. He's bothered by that. And when he's bothered by that, it trickles down to everyone, including you as fans. You're bothered by it. You would want to see the Crimson Tide in the upcoming season get back to having the essence of being a top 10 defense. Top 5 is the main goal, but at least top 10 to where you look at scoring defense, Bama's right there in the top 5 to 10. Rush defense, Bama's right there. Pass defense, Bama's right there. Pass efficiency defense, Bama's right there. Third down defense, Bama's right there. You want to see in every major category in the next campaign, Alabama is right there with all the heavy hitters when you look at the defensive side of the football. So that's the biggest question here for Pete Golding is, can he win you over? Can he win you, the fan base? Can he win your trust? Can he win your respect? Can he win your love as, you know what? Saban did make the right decision. Saban did make the right choice. You know what? Maybe Pete's not as bad as we thought he was. Maybe Pete's not as terrible as we thought he was. Maybe Pete can do it. Maybe he just needed a moment to come in, adjust, get his feet wet, learn some things, go through some adversity, and maybe now he's set and good to become one of the elite defensive minds, one of the elite play callers here in college football. But the thing is, can he win you over as a fan base? And he's going to have that chance to do it. He's going to have an opportunity to do it. Spring ball, which starting in the next 2 weeks, he's going to have that chance to do it. Fall camp, he's going to have that chance to do it. In the A-Day game, April 17th, where everybody's going to be, or quite the number of people will be in Bryant-Denny Stadium. So he's going to have a chance to do that then. And then most importantly, the 2021 season, the upcoming season, where he's going to have a full chance from start to finish to show you he's the guy, and Alabama made the right move by hiring him, bringing him in here. But does Pete Golding win your trust? Does Pete Golding win your love? Does Coach Golding win your respect as the fan base of Alabama football? We take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. Just getting started. As always, Tide Nation, we appreciate you guys giving us that thumbs up, liking the show, hitting that subscribe button, turning those notifications on so we can keep you informed on all things Crimson Tide football. When we get back, we'll take your phone calls, your thoughts, your tweets, your texts, your concerns. Do you feel like Pete Golding can win your love, your trust, your respect as an Alabama fan? We'll have a dialogue with you guys after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We're back in here, folks, from the break on the number one forum for Bama football news on a Friday. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. As always, Tide Nation, we appreciate you guys liking the show, giving us that thumbs up there on the YouTube channel, hitting that subscribe button, and turning those notifications all the way on so that you can continue getting the best in Bama football news. Also, if you want to become a member to TDA on YouTube, we got the link in the chat line and the link also in the description as well, and that link will show you step by step on how you can become a member to the YouTube channel here, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. But we're going to get into the phone lines right now. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. That's the number to call in, 205-448-1358. Before that, we got a couple of super chats to get to. So how about Jimmy Clay one time? That $20 donation coming from our own Jimmy the Bad Man Clay, starting us off here on the show. And then also Spencer Reveley dropping in that $5 donation. Appreciate the love and the support from Spencer, from Jimmy Clay, and from all of you, the Alabama football fans, the passion, the joy, the excitement that you guys bring us in the super chats right there. $75 super chat goal. That's the daily goal right there. But Spencer and Jimmy Clay getting us started. But we take our first call of the evening from my man Waylon. Waylon, happy Friday to you. How you feeling?
Boy, I tell you what, y'all have to excuse me. I'm stopped up tonight. Spring is sprung. I think it's coming. But I want to start off by saying here Wednesday's show, man, I tell you what, 100 in the chat there over twice. Nearly got to the goal, over 50 likes. Ooh, I'm telling you what, the Blue Wrench Game's looking good. All the people in the chat, cities, towns, countries, and states, I'll guarantee you TD appreciates and Waylon does too. But Stephen, you're on fire today, but I saw your little poll there on YouTube about Jalen Waddle, what we think his speed will be when he recovers from this, I call it an extensive injury, the breaking of the leg down there in the ankle. I tell you what, I put the TikTok video up back when Waddle and Henry Ruggs was together there in the inside practice facility, and there was a photo finish in the race of the 40-yard dash. You couldn't call a winner or a loser. So I hope Waddle gets back to that. But you talking about guys that are hitting speeds back in the Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson era, Henry Ruggs run a 4.27. I don't think anybody's ran a faster 40. Now, you may know than Deion and Bo, and I think Bo outran Deion. So tell me what you think about this speed situation.
Now, right now, going back to that there, Wayne, I think Bo ran a 4.19, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not sure what Deion ran. I'm at the fact check that. But I remember Bo ran a 4.19. Now, Henry Ruggs ran a 4.27 last year at the Combine when it was on site in Indianapolis. And that was the fastest time among receivers in that draft class. It was also the fourth fastest time in Combine history since they instituted the electronic timing back in 1999. So Ruggs' 4.27 was fast. What I want to see here is I want to see Waddle run his 40. I want to see Smitty, Najee Harris, and Patrick Surtain II run their 40s as well at Pro Day, which will be on March 23rd. But just Waddle in particular, I want to see Waddle run because there's a huge debate upon where this draft class is concerned on who's the better receiver between Waddle, Devontae Smith, and Jamar Chase out of LSU. There's a huge conversation going on about that right now. So I want to see Waddle run his 40. How fast can he clock it so that we can really dive into this conversation of who's getting the best receiver when you look at Smitty, Waddle, and Chase out of LSU.
Well, that's it. No more needs to be said. When you get down to them speeds, you smoking, son. You got some shoes on. Somebody better have some deep pockets to be able to buy them boys some shoes because they get burning the soles off the bottom of them. When you run a 4.01, Bo Jackson, all I can tell you is Howie Long said he was an animal. So whether you like it or not, he was from Auburn. I wish Coach Bryant could have got him. But it's Friday, a lot of people in the queue. We appreciate everybody once again, all the love they're sending out towards me and that TDA, but we're going to end it like this. The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The grace of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you shall reap. This country needs to remember that. They need to remember it and keep it remembered every day we live. All right, everybody, looking good. Let's blow this show up tonight. I'm out of here. I'll see y'all on Monday. Have a safe weekend. Bye-bye, Stephen.
Incredible poem there from our own Waylon Colburn calling into the show. A poem you can reflect on. A poem and a statement that you can reflect on. Appreciate Waylon there for helping us out here on the show. We take our next call. You're live on the show. What's going on tonight? Doing good in yourself. How you feeling? We lost that call right there. We take our next call, though. You are live on the show. What's going on? Live on the show, caller. What's going on?
Hello.
How we feeling?
Hey, man, what's going on? Is this Stephen M. Smith?
This is he. You're talking right to him. This is he.
Hey, man, what you doing? I'm talking about Roll Tide, man. What's going on?
Going good, man. I mean, Bama in fourth quarter program. Spring ball starts up in 2 weeks. The pro day is 23rd of March. Like, if you're a Bama fan, it's about that time to start that excitement back up again.
Yeah, man. Rammer, jammer, yellow hammer. Give them hell, Alabama.
What's on your mind right now, man?
Hey, man. I'm just trying to get back on the Pete Golden subject. I know Pete. He, year after year, it seems like he's giving up the points and he's giving up the yards. But I'm kind of feeling, people need to give him a little chance and let him come into his fourth year, like you say, get his feet wet and back in the day, when Saban come in, everything was about defensive ball and all that. But I mean, you've seen it year after year after year. Football's getting more on the offensive side. You got to put the points on the board to win the game. Do you agree?
This is true, and I've noticed it also, and I've been noticing that the changes have gone more so. The changes have gone more so toward the offense. The offensive game has evolved. This is true. It's just that even with the offensive game evolving, I know a lot of people, and in particular Alabama fans, would like to see, a defense where, and I understand you're not going to shut teams out. I get it, but at least be able to hold teams between 10 and 14 points per game. I think at that juncture right there, that's what Alabama fans would like to see. We know you're not going to shut teams out every single week, but at least for the most part, hold an opponent to between 10 to 14 points. Don't give up the 30 and 40 and 50-point games. And if you do that, we're fine with you holding the opposition between 10 and 14 points. I think that's where the Bama fan base is looking at right now.
Right. I mean, you look back in the Greg McElroy, in the A.J. McCarron, and the Blake Sims, and the Jake Coker era, back when the Alabama defense was on top with Tim Williams, Reuben Foster, all these hard-hitter guys, in the secondary, Cyrus Jones, and you had, back with Greg McElroy, you had Julio and all these guys, the big playmakers back in the day. We wasn't running up 52, 63 points on opponent. We were putting the defense on them. And nowadays, you got all the playmakers. You had Jalen Waddle. You had Devontae. You had this past year, golly, it just skipped my mind, John Mechie. He come in and stepped up. Jahlil Billingsley. Forrestall. You had all these guys. Mac Jones, he stepped up. And everybody doubted Mac Jones. Everybody doubted him. They come in and said, he's not going to be Tua. Well, he didn't need to be Tua. They done had all the interviews with these wide receivers, with Devontae and Jalen Waddle. They said they would rather have Mac Jones.
Good point. Good point. Good point right there. I mean, I like what Alabama has offensively, and I want to see it keep going. But also, I do want to see that defense get back to somewhat of being dominant on that side of the ball also. But we appreciate the call. Good call right there. Good thoughts right there from that caller. So before we take a break here, quick little topic on Jalen Waddle for me. I want to see Waddle run between 4.25 and 4.3. If he can run under 4.25, then whoa, baby. But at least between 4.25 and 4.3 is where I want to see Waddle going here in when he does his 40-yard dash at Alabama's Pro Day. Once again, that's on March the 23rd. But we take a break right now. Folks, call back in the next 10 minutes. We're taking your calls in the next 10 minutes after this segment here and speaking with our own Mike McCoy, former Alabama wide receiver. As always, folks, continue to hit that thumbs up, give us a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on so we can provide you with the best in Tide football. We take a break right now, but upon our return, we will sit down with Mike McCoy, the owner of Maximum Performance Institute and former Alabama wide receiver from 2006 to 2009. You'll hear from McCoy after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
All right, people, we are back in from the break here on the Friday TGIF edition of the show. Number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Got to shout out the man Waylon Colbert, our man Waylon, donating that $9.99 in the Super Chats, helping us out here, TDA. As always, that daily Super Chat goes $75. Daily Super Chat go. You guys have been outstanding. Appreciate the love, the support, the passion that you are helping us out here with on the network. Also, be sure to hit that thumbs up, give us a like on the show, hit that subscribe button, make sure those notifications are turned all the way on so you can have the best alerts here on your favorite program. But we go over to the In My Own Words hotline. We pick up a good friend of mine, a brother, a guy that's on his business, on his grind, the founder, owner, CEO, the big man, the big men of Maximum Performance Institute out of Bessemer. He's also a former Alabama receiver, played from 2006 to 2009 on the 2009 National Championship team. The big guy in the building, Mike McCoy. Mike, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, you got it, man. I appreciate the kind words, brother. It's always a pleasure.
Got Mike McCoy here in the building. So happy to have him on the show, the owner, founder of Maximum Performance Institute out of Bessemer. So, Mike, I mean, Crimson Tide coming off national championship for Nick Saban, number 7, which gets him over Paul Bryant. But we all know how Coach Saban is. He's off to the next one. He's pursuing the next one. He's hungry. He's trying to get that next one. But he's trying to do it with a quarterback that doesn't have a lot of big game experience. Mac Jones last year was a first-year starter, but at least in 2019, he played in some big games. This time around, whoever wins this quarterback job doesn't have a lot of experience at that position in Alabama. When you played in 2009, you had Greg McElroy. And, Greg, a cerebral guy, smart guy, good quarterback, but never had a lot of that big game experience. How did you guys offensively get Greg comfortable in that 2009 season? And what does Alabama have to do next season to get whoever wins the quarterback job comfortable?
Well, I don't think it'll be a big surprise to whoever earns the starting job because those guys go with like if whoever the number 2 guy was this past year. He went with the 1 receivers as well as the 2 receivers. You know what I'm saying? The 1 and the 2. So he got reps. Were they fast? No, you get used to who you're throwing the ball to, man, and you do get that experience. You got to think this is Alabama, so that practice is almost like you're playing against the NFL roster, regardless. So offensively and defensively. So I think they will adjust fine. What we did with Greg, man, it just got him comfortable. Throw the ball. Do what got you to Alabama. So it won't change, man.
If you're just tuning into the show, we got Mike McCoy on the phone lines right now, the owner and founder of Maximum Performance Institute out of Bessemer, also former Crimson Tide receiver from 2006 to 09. Big reason behind that 09 SEC championship and national championship. So, Mike, you were a leader at that wide receiver position. I mean, you were a big playmaker here at Alabama at that spot. When you look at just the guys back on the roster at wide receiver, who are you highlighting as somebody that, I want to see this young man make big plays on the outside in the upcoming season? Who do you like at wide receiver right now for Alabama?
Of course, the kid Mechie. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly, right? Mechie?
Yes, you are, Mechie. Yes, you are.
Yes. I mean, he's a special guy. If you go and if they brought you in, they recruited you, they're expecting you to do any and everything. It can shine on any receiver. They may have a third string receiver who may be better than the starter. Everything is about opportunity, but Mechie is probably who I'm most big on. And the tight end, what's the kid, Billingsley?
That kid's special. That kid's good.
Yeah, man, he's a mismatch, man. He's a receiver that plays tight end. Like he reminds you of Evan Smith that played at not Evan Smith. What's the receiver that played at Ole Miss? Evan
Ingram.
That's who it reminds me of because he's just such a mismatch, man. But those are the 2 that I'm expecting big things out of this year.
Okay. So just sticking right there, what about Billingsley's game reminds you of Evan Ingram? Because I watched Ingram too at Ole Miss, and absolutely a matchup problem. But what specifically in Billingsley's game reminds you of Evan Ingram? Because that's a pretty darn good comparison.
He's a natural pass catcher. He's very versatile. He's very shifty. Can get in and out his brace really well. And the size, man, I mean, the kid can separate. Like you can line them up at receiver as well as tight end. So how do you guard that? You know what I'm saying? All you can do is hope that they can contain a guy like that right there. So I think he'll wreck the SEC like the tight end that Florida did this past year. So I'm expecting some big things out of that kid, man.
Our own Mike McCoy looking for Jaleel Billingsley to be like Kyle Pitts out here. We got some big words here coming from Mike McCoy. Join us here on the show, the founder and owner, CEO of Maximum Performance Institute out of Birmingham, out of Bessemer, on the phone line. So, Mike, as we flip this to defense, you are a solid receiver, but you also played against some competitive defensive backs. Like you played against some guys that challenged you, that want to take the ball, that wanted to come down and knock somebody's head off. You played against some headhunters in the secondary. When you look at this Alabama secondary coming up in the fall, starting off though in spring practice, I know it lost Patrick Surtain to the NFL, but who's a guy that you're highlighting in this secondary? Malachi Moore's a big-time deal, but who is somebody else that you're kind of highlighting in this secondary that you want to see more from?
I mean, you just said, the whole secondary. It's not just him. You bringing a lot of guys back, man. I don't have anyone in particular that because, defense is a unit. It's hard to kind of single out one individual because it takes one guy to blow a play, but it also takes one to make a play, So I think this year now they came into their own. far as their identity, far as last year. But like you said, they lost the first-round draft pick. So I will be interested in seeing who's up next, who's going to step up and to take his spot. That's the biggest question. That's the question mark. Who's going to replace Pat?
That is the biggest question mark, and fortunately for Alabama, they've got bodies, they've got depth. Here's an opportunity for Marcus Banks. Here's an opportunity for a Kyrie Jackson, a JUCO, a Ronald Williams, another JUCO. So the bodies are right there, the potential's right there, but at Alabama, it's about who can rise up and snatch it, who can take it, who can win the job, who's ready right now. Who's ready to pop right then and there? But we've got Mike McCoy on the phone lines, former Alabama receiver from 2006 to 2009. He's also the founder of Maximum Performance Institute out of Bessemer. So, Mike, when you discuss now, Pete Golding as the defensive coordinator, he's entering his 4th season at Alabama, his 3rd as the primary play caller. There's been kind of a mixed bag of emotions among the fans when you bring up Pete Golding. You played with Kirby Smart as the DC during his time with the Crimson Tide. Where do you want to see Pete Golding take that next step and grow? You work with young athletes, you work with young guys, but as a defensive coordinator, where do you want to see Pete Golding take that next step and grow as a coach?
Now, I'm going to tell you, representation is everything. And me saying that, I'm not just talking about color here. I'm talking about somebody that played the position or played that sport. Everybody knew that Kirby had stripes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's kind of like with my kids. I could not tell these kids to do something that I can't do. And I'm not saying that about him, but these kids do background checks, man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know his backstory. I don't know where he came from or where. But you got to earn these kids' trust, and you got to earn these kids' stripes, because representation, they want to know that hey, man, you know what you're talking about. Don't just tell me you're talking about it. You did this. It's almost like talking about snow to somebody who's only seen the sun. So that's what these kids are expecting. Okay, tell me why you're doing this. Maybe they're not explaining it enough. Maybe he's not putting the foot on the gas. Maybe he's trying to be friends rather than coach. I don't know what has to happen, but I can tell you one thing. When Kirby was there, everybody respected him. Him and Coach Saban used to go back and forth at it. You know what I'm saying? So,
I remember.
Kirby, if Saban cuts Kirby out, Kirby going to fire right back at you, and that's what the players love, because they knew no matter what, Kirby got your back. You know what I'm saying? You're going to go to war for me whether I'm right or wrong. So I think that's what has to be seen for this defense. They got to take on that tenacity like that, man. Don't be worried about your job, man. It's your 4th year. If you still worried about getting fired, you know what I'm saying, you would have been gone. But obviously he sees something in you to keep you around, man. You there for a reason. Do your job. Win, shut them boys out. And everybody keep hollering about what offenses have changed today. Well, pardon my language, shoot, you got to change as well.
So before we let you go here, Mike, I want to hold right there on that topic you just brought up on the dynamic between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart when Kirby was in Tuscaloosa, of how Kirby had y'all back. Kirby was ride or die. Kirby was with y'all guys. What made that dynamic special right there? Because, like you mentioned, you said Kirby earned his stripes. He earned that respect. He earned y'all trust. Like when Kirby looked y'all in the face, y'all like, okay, let's go. We got our guy. Let's roll. What made that dynamic that special?
I don't know if it's the bond, if he get out there, when somebody know what they talking about. Now, I'm not at practice, right? So I don't know if he's doing this or not. Kirby getting out there, and he backpedaling with you. You know what I'm saying? He's showing you how to cover. It's different when somebody is showing you rather than just telling you. He can show and tell, and I think that's the biggest part. And truthfully, if offense is beating defense, Kirby talking to the offensive players too. It ain't he's like, hey, why did you do this type of stuff? Okay, that worked. I like that. Good release. Way to get on top of them. Like, he challenged the players in a good way. Hey, Mike. Hey, Julio. Keep getting after his butt. Like, that's what he knew psychology, man. He knew how to get through to his players.
He's Mike McCoy, ladies and gentlemen, former Alabama receiver, played from 2006 to 2009, big part of that 2009 SEC and National Championship team. He's also the founder and CEO of Maximum Performance Institute out of Bessemer. You guys got to check him out. I've spent some time there with him at the spot right there. I got to get back there once this COVID thing dies down some. But Mike, appreciate you for coming on, the wisdom, the information, the knowledge that you bring to us here at the table. You stay safe, my man. Be good. Be blessed. Take care, man.
All right, man. Appreciate you for having me. Y'all be blessed.
Absolutely. Mike McCoy here joining us live on the show, former Crimson Tide receiver, sharing some big nuggets there. So for Pete Golden, got to earn the trust, got to earn the fire, got to earn the respect of not just the fans, but also the players also. Definitely identify with what McCoy's talking about right there. But we take another break right now. On the show, as always, Tide Nation, be sure to give us that thumbs up, like the show up. Also, hit that subscribe button, turn all the notifications on, so that way you can have all the insight on Bama football. But upon our return, we get back into a conversation with you, the Alabama football fans, after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com now to get your four-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your four-finger bling necklace right now at WeOwnTheFourthQuarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We back in, folks. We back in. We rolling from the break on the number one forum for Bama football news in My Own Words on a Friday. Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate Mike McCoy, former Alabama wide receiver, joining us in that last segment, man. Keeping it real there, my man Mike McCoy did just that. And before we get back into the phone lines to take your calls, call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. We got to shout out William Bryant one time for the money clip. William Bryant bringing in that $19.99 via the Super Chat donations there. Appreciate that love coming from one William Bryant, helping us out here on the show via the Super Chat. $75 daily Super Chat goals, $75 daily goal. They're appreciating you guys for having the passion, the love, the excitement, making us your show here on YouTube. Also, got to remind you guys of MyBookie.ag, latest sponsor of the TDA, MyBookie.ag. So check this out. You have the skills to pay the bills. You feel confident. You feel lucky. You feel fortunate. You feel like you know what you're doing when it comes down to wagering on these Alabama football games and winning some cold, hard cash here. You check out our guys at MyBookie.ag. You make the right play. Sign up today. When you do sign up, you use the promo code TDAlabama to get that deposit matched halfway, all the way up to $1,000. You can't beat it. You can't beat it. Did I not tell you that you can't beat it? You can't beat it. You check out MyBookie.ag. That's MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code TDAlabama and get your win on. But we jump back into the phone lines. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang. 205-448-1358. That is the number. We take a call right now. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? How are you? This is Pete from Ballabastry.
What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Doing all right. I was listening to you earlier. About Pete Golden, and you heard fella Mike McCoy talking about how Kirby was, and I don't know. I just want your thoughts on it because I like how our defense is going to look this year, and I want to know what you think about how we're going to look with all the guys returning.
I think with all the guys returning, Alabama is going to look good with the guys returning. Now, I understand exactly where Mike was coming from because I was out there when Kirby Smart was here and I was covering the team, and I saw how Kirby would backpedal with the guys, get down with the guys, get in the mud with those guys, get in their face and show them what's up. Like, I saw Kirby out there coaching in that way. And the players responded very well to it because they saw that, Kirby was with them. Kirby played the game. Kirby coached the game. So I can see where Mike McCoy is coming from. But at the same time, I look at year 4 with Pete Golding. He can't go anywhere but up. I mean, he's been through the adversity. Year 1 as a defensive coordinator, the main guy, he had the injuries bug that hit him there at the linebacker position. This past year, I don't know what the case was with Dylan Moses. I mean, we thought he was good. We thought he was prepared to go. He made some decent plays, but just for some reason, mentally, Dylan wasn't all the way there. Now, this upcoming year right here, you got year 4 in the picture. Pete Golding's got the talent. He's got the talent on defense to have this group as a top 5 group. But for him, can he have the confidence in the play calling? That's the big thing with Pete Golding. If I call a blitz, I know that this blitz is going to work. If I call a zone, I know the zone is going to work. If I call whatever play I call, to have the esteem, confidence in the call that he's making on the field, that's the thing for Pete Golding. He's got confidence in his play calling, and the players have confidence in his play calling, then we will see a big-time defense. Absolutely. But we appreciate that call right there coming in. That's just my thoughts there on Coach Golding. 205-448-1358. That's the number to call in, 205-448-1358. William Bryant with the money clip again. Bang, bang. $49.99 coming from him in the Super Chat. And with that being said, that $75 goal is met again by you, the Alabama Crimson Tide faithful. Appreciate the love, the support from you guys. William Bryant helping us out here. Appreciate William, appreciate Waylon, appreciate Spencer, appreciate Jimmy Clay, everybody for helping us out here on the show, achieving that daily Super Chat goal. But topic for today, as you guys are getting your thoughts together, 205-448-1358, and it goes to Kendrick Blackshear. Alabama 4-star linebacker freshman Kendrick Blackshear. He is not an early enrollee. He will be here in the summer. But right now, because he's not an early enrollee, this is a good opportunity for him to get his speed down, to get his footwork, his agility, his change of direction down. Because as physical as he is, remember I spoke on this on a recent show, when he steps off the bus, young boy looked the part from Duncanville, Texas. He looked like he was eating that. He was on the whey protein and weights. He looked like he ate soul food every single day. I mean, when he come off that bus, brother looked the part at 6'2", 240 pounds out of Duncanville, Texas. But the main thing here is, even though he looks the part, he's got the size, he's got the strength, he's got the power, the footwork at times, and when you look at his high school tape, is questionable. That was brought to my attention by our own Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for TDA, and also upon I myself looking at Blackshear's film, there's at points where he's kind of slow-footed at times on film. So for him, got to have the feet in a line, because nowadays at Alabama, you want your linebackers tearing that field up. Sideline for sideline, taking away the angle, lateral quickness, shooting through gaps. Like, you want your linebackers taking the grass off the turf inside the playing venue. So right now, Blackshear is working with Coach Joshua Hicks, who is the owner of 300 Fitness in Dallas, Texas, getting that footwork in line. Also, Derek Blaylock, former NFL running back who spent a lot of time with Najee Harris last summer, getting him prepared for the 2020 campaign with his speed. Blaylock has reached out to, Blackshear and wanting to work with the young man. So he's got the size. He's got the power. I mean, he's got the physicality. He's presence stepping off the bus. But if he can get the footwork down, Kendrick Blackshear is going to be something to really, really see for the University of Alabama Crimson Tide. But it's good to see him getting that footwork down on film. But shouting out my man Willie351. Willie351 with the prophetic sevens coming up here. That's 777 in the super chats. Donate here. Appreciate that love coming from our own Willie351. We take another break here on the show. But upon our return, we'll get into a conversation about Mac Jones, Tua Tagovailoa. Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle made their comments taking Mac over Tua. I don't think it's all that big of a deal, but people have blown this up as a massive story. I'm going to give you my reaction on all of it after this.
Avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
And we are back in from the break, folks, on the hottest show on the streets, number one forum for Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Appreciate everybody tuning into the channel, tuning into the show on this evening. Appreciate the support, the love that you've shown us, donating, calling in, texting in, writing in. Really appreciate each and every last one of you. Continue to give a thumbs up, like the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so we can hook you up with all the latest updates, news, notes, analysis on your Crimson Tide. Also, if you want to become a member to TDA on YouTube, we got the link here for you in the chat line, also in the description, and that link will take you step by step showing you how to become a member to the YouTube channel. Got a shout out right now, Mechanic. How about Mechanic donating that $25 via the super chats? Appreciate the love that come from Mechanic as they drop in the bag there, helping us out at TDA. We're about to redefine the super chat goal right here on the show, but also, Bama fans, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So check this out here. So for all of you fans still overjoyed with the Tide's national championship, I want you to check out our championship collection merch. Grab you an 18 of them things, folk, t-shirt, hoodie, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts, designs which features all 18 championship years on the back of those things. Head over to TDAwear.com. Do it right now. TDAwear.com. Go over Championship Collections tab and get you that merch today. Copy those shirts. Show them that support for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at TDA. But we get into now the story that I don't think is much of a story, but everybody's blowing this up. I mean, from Alabama fans to former NFL general managers, to former NFL executives, to NFL media personalities. So many, everywhere you turn, people are really blowing this story up on the internet. And that's none other than the situation between Mac Jones and Tua Tagovailoa in terms of Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle. So both receivers in the NFL draft process, both guys expected to go in the top 10 of the upcoming draft in April, that being next month. So both receivers will address the question of who would you rather prefer at quarterback? Would you prefer Tua Tagovailoa? Would you prefer Mac Jones? And so both guys, without hesitation, answered the question with Mac Jones. They like both quarterbacks. They appreciate both quarterbacks. But upon being asked, who do you prefer? They both said Mac Jones. And social media just went into a pariah. Oh, my gosh. They threw Tua under the bus. They weak. They lame. They whack. How dare they? They came at Tua. They're disrespecting Tua. They're just doing Tua dirty. Didn't they play with Tua? Didn't they catch passes from Tua? Why are they just being so disrespectful toward Tua Tagovailoa like that? They're just throwing Tua on the bus, doing them bad, doing them dirty. Tua got enough pressure on him as it is, and now he's got his own, receivers that he played with, throwing him under the bus, just doing them all types of just ugly out there on social media. And I'm like, so here's my reaction to this. Because I saw nothing wrong with what Tua and with what Smitty and Waddle said. I saw absolutely nothing wrong with it. So here is my reaction to it. Number one, you address these two young men with the question: what did you expect them to say? What did you want? What did you want them to say? What did you expect them to say? You address these two young men with the question, and for the first time, they are no longer under the thumb or jurisdiction of Nick Saban and the Alabama football communications department. What did you think the answer was going to be? They were going to be wrong with the answer. They were going to be uncut with the answer. For the first time in 3 to 4 years, they're no longer under the direction of Nick Saban. They're no longer under the umbrella that is Alabama football. So quite naturally, they were going to answer the question in a way that was going to maybe catch you off guard, so to speak. But that's just number one. Number two, think about this for a second here. And first and foremost, Devontae Smith. I am not dismissing anything that Tua and Smitty did. 2nd and 26 will always be amazing. The 41-yard touchdown game-winning catch to beat Georgia in the national championship on 2nd and 26 will always be near and dear to the hearts of everybody. Everybody will forever love it, value it, appreciate it, hang it on the wall, tell their great-grandchildren about it. But at the same time, you look at this right here. When Tua was a starter for Alabama that first year, 2018, Smitty had to literally beg to get the ball. The guy that was the leading receiver that year was Jerry Jeudy, 68 catches that year. I mean, Jeudy had more catches than Smitty that year. Waddle had more catches than Smitty that year. Ruggs had more catches than Smitty that year. Heck, I believe Irv Smith Jr. had more receptions than Devontae Smith in the 2018 season. Smitty had to beg for the ball, practically. And then 2019, you look at Jerry Jeudy had more receptions than Smitty did. Smitty was never the number one guy for Tua. He was never the face at wide receiver for Tua. Yes, he made plays. Yes, he caught passes. Yes, he had clutch performances, but he was never the number one guy. He was never the face at wide receiver with Tua. When you look at Mac, now Smitty became the face. When you look at Mac, Smitty became the face of Alabama football at wide receiver, especially with the injury to Jalen Waddle. Smitty became the huge face for Alabama football. And you mean to tell me that he's not supposed to talk up the quarterback that got him the Heisman? Bruh, he got him the Heisman. How do you not talk up the young man that got you the Heisman, the Biletnikoff, the SEC Offensive Player of the Year, the AP Player of the Year, the Walter Camp Player of the Year, the Maxwell Player of the Year? All of the accolades that you received, you got them because you had Mac Jones throwing you the football? I mean, how do you not talk up the guy? How do you not talk up Mac Jizzle? I mean, Tua did not get Smitty the Heisman. Tua did not get Smitty the Biletnikoff. Tua did not get Smitty, those other awards. Mac helped get him those honors. And then when you look at Jalen Waddle here for a moment. Waddle, the first touchdown reception that Waddle had in his career, it didn't come from Tua. It came from Mac Jones in 2018 against Louisiana Lafayette, a 94-yard catch and burn to the house at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Mac and Waddle came up on the third-team offense together. They grew together at Alabama. And Waddle knows, hey, if I didn't get hurt against Tennessee, this could have been my Heisman Trophy. This could have been my Biletnikoff Award. This could have been, my AP Player of the Year. The awards that Devontae Smith received, I could have gotten them, or at least been in full contention for them, because prior to Waddle getting hurt, he was doing some absolutely unholy things to defensive secondaries. I mean, averaging 22 yards per catch coming from Mac Jones. In each of the first 4 games, we're talking about over 100 yards receiving for Jalen Waddle. 25 catches, 557 yards, 4 touchdowns for one Jalen Waddle. You look at it, the 85-yard touchdown receptions, the 90-yard touchdown grabs, the 80-plus touchdown yard bombs, those were all coming from Mac to Waddle. So quite naturally, you're going to talk up the guy that helped you achieve status. You're going to talk up the guy that helped you achieve accolades, that helped you achieve success. And furthermore, people, Tua's got his. He got drafted in the first round. He got drafted in the top 5. He got drafted in the top 10. He got drafted to the NFL. Tua's got his. Tua's got his cream. Casuals, everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, y'all. Like, Tua's got the Wu-Tang Clan. Tua's got the A$AP Rocky. And all I do is count them pesos. Like, Tua's got his. Tua got his. He's got endorsement deals out the wazoo. His main focus is trying to show these NFL talking heads that he can be a wowing quarterback, just like all these other young hotshot guys out there. So Tua's got his. Mac is trying to be a first-round pick. Mac is looking to be a first-round guy. You got half the NFL saying Mac's elite, Mac's good, Mac Jones is going to go in the first round. Then you got the other half saying, well, I don't know about Mac Jones. It's hard to evaluate him. He had everything easy. He was living in a fantasy world at Alabama. Playing at Alabama ain't like playing in the NFL. It's going to be hard in the NFL. Mac had the run game, the offensive line, the receivers running wide open. So half the league thinks he's going to be good, and half the insiders think Mac Jones is going to be a bust. So this is why his guys are talking him up, because they want to see Mac get taken in the first round. Tua is already an NFL quarterback with a $30+ million contract that's fully guaranteed, with the possibility of getting a 5th-year option picked up on that thing. Mac is trying to be a first-round selection. And last but not least, Waddle and Smitty came up in the game with a chip on their shoulders. They were always told, you're too small, you're too scrawny, you're not big enough, you're not physical enough, you're not tall enough, skinny dudes don't get taken in the first round. They've always been told that. So they came up with a chip on their shoulder, and they see their guy, Mac Jones, at quarterback, who came up with a chip on his shoulder. Skinny white kid, 3-star from Florida. He ain't good enough. He ain't talented enough. He ain't athletic enough. He ain't wowing enough. They saw Mac Jones enter Alabama with a lot to prove. They saw Mac put his head down, go to work, and be about that business because Mac represents the families growing up in Section A where some got to give. If they turn out lights off, nah, bro, some got to give. So Mac grew up with that mindset of, I got to prove everybody wrong. Smitty and Waddle saw that mindset, and they, drew to that mindset. They respect that mindset, the hustle and the grind that Mac has. So for me, I saw nothing wrong with what Smitty said. I saw nothing wrong with what Waddle said. They are trying to talk their guy. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But folks, as always, you want the best in news, notes, information, and coverage here on your Crimson Tide. You can access it by downloading the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll be back on Monday continuing the conversation. That is Bama football. Got to shout out my man McCoy again. $13 super chats. Appreciate McCoy there showing us some love. We have doubled that super chat goal. Give yourself a hand. Bama Nation doubling that super chat goal. Appreciate everybody showing us the love here on the show. As always, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. Also, the print edition of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, the print magazine coming soon. If you want to be able to get that, cop that, you go to touchdownalabama.com, click join, become a member, become a subscriber today to get that print magazine. And you can also cop you that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of our guys at weownthefourthquarter.com. That link in the description too. But until next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children weekend in the building. Do the right thing, the responsible thing, the legitimate thing to not be bored. As always, get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself. Protect the loved ones around you. And until next time, folks, I'm your confidant. I'm your man, Stephen M. Smith. This has been In My Own Words.